Last Friday, Ngāti Kahungungu re-elected Bayden Barber as chair of the iwi for his second term, beating Deputy Chair Thompson Hokianga. It will continue to be a big job stewarding the third largest iwi in Aotearoa through generally tricky economic, political and environmental times, as well as fighting to return the iwi ancestral maunga, Kahurānaki, and the ongoing rebuild work following on from the devastating impacts of Cyclone Gabrielle. So, the chair of Ngāti Kahungungu, Bayden Barber, is with me now. E kara tēnā koe.
Tēnā koe.
Nau mai.
Tēnā koe.
Me mihi, tēnā koe whakawhia no koe ki tērā tūranga mauna ia koe ia nei nā. Is that a symbol, do you think, of the want of the iwi for stability and security in what is, I guess, turbulent and tricky times, Bayden?
Yeah, I think so. I think the last 3 years have been tricky, challenging. We had Cyclone Gabrielle, we had some major reform in our economic, our commercial arm of the iwi, and we've got a government that is challenging. So I think our people have seen the mahi that's been done in the last 3 years and want to continue that going forward.
Do you think also it's a sign of the fact that they like someone who's prepared to make the hard calls? Takitimu seafood was a hard call.
Yeah, there was a number of hard calls in the past 3 years. I think our people are saying we've got to make hard calls, because if we don't, ko tātou te papane. And we've been prepared. Our boards have been prepared to make the hard calls. And I think it's started to show a couple to mai he hua. We're starting to see the fruits of making those calls.
And also interesting in terms of some of the other elected representatives. Now, you've got some young ones in Crystal, Edwards, and also Esther Waino, who Anthony Tipene Matu is another new board member. So you'll also be leading a new, some would say, refreshed board. Is that going to be a different kind of challenge as the leader? Yeah,
I think it will be. The last election, myself and Thompson were the only new members on the board, so we had pretty much an old board coming through. Now, half of them are new. I look forward to the challenge, actually. I think it's time to have some new blood and different perspectives, because the challenges we face are different. You know, this generation, we've got a new generation coming through. They see things from a different lens. Our kaumātua, some of the longer serving board members, ka pai tērā, but I think having some new whakaaro, I think it'll be good for the board and good for the direction of the iwi.
What is the biggest challenge that you're facing right now?
I think we've got the geopolitical stuff, we've got the national politics, we've got challenges on Māori wards. But for Ngāti Kahungungu, we've got a rapidly growing iwi that are looking for opportunities in terms of jobs and employment, economic growth, papakainga, housing. I think they're looking for, kotahitanga. I'll definitely say kotahitanga. We have 7 PSGs, we have 6 tai whenua, we have Ngāti Kahungungu Iwi Incorporated. So how do we kind of knit that all together to drive our people forward? That's probably the big challenge.
Those are big challenges. You've also got an issue of tupuna maunga in your takiwā that very clearly many of the iwi want returned back into either iwi ownership or in some form or shape in a different way than it is now in private ownership. Is that going to happen?
We want it to happen. It's an open market tender process, so at the end of the day, the sellers have the last say. But I think we had the owner. She came to the pōhiri, the hikoi up the Kahurānaki maunga, and I spoke to her afterwards. How did you feel with all our people there? The pōhiri, how did you feel? She felt touched. She felt the wairua. She felt the mana, the Māori. And I said, well, hold on to those feelings, because ideally we'd love to have a direct negotiation with you. We don't want this going into foreign ownership. The last farm that was bought a month ago is going to be turned into a pine pine forest, you know. So people are looking overseas investment opportunities. We're saying we want it back. We'll look after you. Talk to us.
Is that going to happen, do you think?
Yeah, I think so.
I know I'm putting you in a different position because you don't want to
I hope
divulge
so. I hope so. You know, we've kind of sent a strong message to the family that we are highly motivated and we're willing to look after them monetary-wise, but also the relationship between the family and iwi, hapū and marae.
Can I ask you a question about how do you strike the right balance between managing those cultural imperatives? I mean, this is important for the iwi, but also you've got to get commercial return. You know, I mean, the days of 10%, I mean, that's tough, right? 7%, particularly with terrace, would be great. 5% is probably more achievable. How do you strike that balance now, Bayden?
It's a hard one. I mean, we have commercial people looking over the return from the farm, the station. You know, you're looking at 2%.
Yeah.
You're looking at 2% for farming at the moment. But the cultural imperatives, I think, outweigh the commercial, and we just have to find a balance to make it work. I mean, if we could get the station to wash its face, ka pai. And I think the opportunity only comes up once every 100 years. I mean, 1854, the land was put into Pākehā ownership, but it's been with the Greenwood family for 100 years. So we need to take the opportunity.
Okay.
We need to take the opportunity.
So, and if I take what you said about the geopolitical climate and tariffs and Trump and all that kind of stuff and insecurity that abounds with all of that which is going on at the moment, do you think the time is right now? So Morgan has talked about a Māori bank. Do we need a Māori bank now, babe, to ensure that iwi, ngā hapū o Kahungungu, ngā whānau o Kahungungu can get access to the capital that they require to be able to do the things that they value?
Yeah. I think we need access to capital. Māori need access to capital. It's been a long-standing issue. We've been working with this government and the previous government to try and do that. Whether it forms in the form of a bank, I'm not too sure. I mean, banks, you need plenty of capital for a bank. But if we can get access, because these opportunities are going to come up. Farming is on a plateau, even a bit of a dip. So people are going to be looking into the future. Stations are going to come up. Maunga are going to come up. How do we access capital to be able to make quick decisions around that? Yeah. So I think we do need a bank of some sort.
What is it like dealing with this current government?
It's difficult because they haven't been listening to us, you know, and when you've got a partner, kaore rātou mo te whakarongo, you know, it's kind of like having a one-way conversation with yourself, you know, and that we're going to get nowhere with that. So we need to be able to talk. We need to be able to put our kind of ideas in front of this government, because I feel and I think and I believe that the best interests of Aotearoa, the future of Aotearoa, is here with iwi and kawana, Māori and kawana. I mean, we're big players in the business world. You know, well, you've seen the reports for the Māori economy. We've got huge asset bases. There's huge opportunities to work together with this government. And Tainui Waikato striking that deal straight off the bat of that foreign
infrastructure.
Yeah.
Do you see that as a rising tide floating all ships?
Totally, 100%. Yeah.
126 billion, 9% GDP, right? There's opportunity. Can I talk to you about another form of government? It's local government. Yeah. 1 year on now, and a bit from Cyclone Gabrielle last year, you talked to us last year about the need for local government to consult and work with iwi, not just consult, actually to work with iwi to help protect the community, to be able to deal with emergency events like Gabrielle. Has that changed?
I think, well, what the issue is, we're not in the legislation. So we've got Minister Mark Mitchell consulting on the civil defence legislation at the moment. If we can get hardwired into that, it will change. But, you know, we just can't have these conversations, oh yeah, we want to help Māori, te mea, but we're not in the legislation when it happens. They don't need to talk with us unless we're hardwired into it. So I think everything will fall from that. If that happens, yeah, ka pai. If it doesn't, we're going to struggle.
And if another emergency event happens, we could see the same devastating impacts of an event like that again, do you think?
100%. I think, you know, people can see the benefit of working with iwi, with Hapū and marae. We're the first responders. That's what we did at Gabrielle. But the legislation, the way that it's currently written, they don't have to talk with us. They don't have to fund us. They don't have to partner with us. So we need to change that legally. And then, yeah, ka pai, let's have a talk.
Te tiamana, tēnā koe. Tēnā koe whai wahi mai koe ke matu. Really appreciate your time being in studio with us now.
Thank you.
And me here.
Kia ora, Julie.
That was, of course, the chair of Ngāti Kahungungu, Bayden Barber.